Now let me take you to the types of functions in Python. Let me come to the language as well, to the particular. So there are 4 types of functions that are there in Python. 4 types of functions. If you divide it in the category, you will get 4 types basically. The first one is your global functions, local functions, your lambda functions, and your methods. So I will discuss them one by one, but in this video I'm going to explain global, local, and your lambda function. Methods, I will discuss that in detail in our object oriented programming video, so don't worry about that. So let me define the global function. As its name indicates, global functions means the functions which is accessible to the same module, that are your global function. For example, I have the 100 lines of code, and somewhere around my 0 to 10 lines I have written a function. I want to use that in my 90th line, I can use it. There is no restriction to that function. I can use it. The scope of the function is within that module. If I tell that in simple word, within that Python file, your function is accessible without any restriction. That is your global function. I think you understood that. The next one is your local functions. Now what are these local functions? This is something very unique in Python. Local functions are functions inside some other functions. Again, I am repeating, local functions are functions which are inside another function. If I have a function, inside it I can write another function. So this inside function, the function which I have written inside a function, is called as a local function. Now the scope of this function is inside the main function as well, parent function. To make you understand this better, let me give one simple example. I am writing a function def parent. I am passing one x here, closing the parenthesis, colon. Inside it I am taking another def child. I am passing this y. I am passing y to it, colon. I am returning x plus y. So this def child is called as a local function. If I come outside of the function, I cannot access this child. This child is accessible only within this function only. Within this function. So how I am doing this here, I have defined both of the function. Inside my parent function, I am going to call child with some value of y. I will write maybe child of 5, right? So y value will become 5. Now I come outside of parent function and I am giving the value of x as well. So I am writing parent of 2. So parent of 2 will be gone to x. Again x will be accepted. Child will take y is equal to whatever I have given. It will add them. It will return the answer as 12. 10 plus 2, 12. So that is what I am going to do here. So inside child function is called as local function. If I come outside and call child, you are going to get an error basically. So that are your local functions. I hope you got that point. Now let me take you to the last one. What are lambda functions? So now try to understand this. Whenever you create a function, for example, I have created def add. I am giving that add, right? That add is called as the name of the function, right? I'm just talking about name of the function. Now there are certain functions which does not have any name, which we call as anonymous functions. So that anonymous functions without names are your lambda functions. And lambda functions are basically kind of expression that are created at their point of usage, and they are very much limited to use. They are very limited. They are not like normal functions. They are limited within itself. So when I'm explaining you the lambda function, you can feel the difference between lambda functions and normal functions. So how to create your lambda function? I'm giving you the syntax. To create a lambda function, you will use a lambda keyword, right? You will use a lambda keyword. You will give a space. You will write arguments. How many arguments you want? Right there, separated by commas. Put a colon. Write an expression here. That's it. So this is the syntax of your lambda expression, a lambda function. This is the syntax of your lambda functions. So if I explain to you a lambda function with an example, say a simple example for you. If I have some maybe I'm taking some variable, call it as d is equal to, and taking lambda keyword, putting x here as my parameter, putting a colon. I want x into 2, right? So this x into 2 is going to be returned whenever I call that. So the expression is returned actually without a return statement. There are no return statements in your lambda expression. If you are familiar with JavaScript, if you haven't seen my videos on JavaScript, I have explained you what are arrow functions. So kind of same thing. You don't have to put a return statement. It is automatically going to return the expression whatever you're going. So if I call d with 2, it is going to multiply 2 with 2, I'm going to return the result as 4. 5 2s are 10. So this is what you're gonna get in your lambda functions. Now these lambda functions can be used with inbuilt functions as well. You can pass it into an inbuilt function like filter and map. So don't worry about these things. When I will explain you whenever in the implementation part, I will explain you how to pass them and how to make use of it. It's very easy to use. Now
okay, so let me just take you to the local functions. So what are local functions? Let me create another function here. So def, I'll call it this one as parent so that you can understand better. I'm passing one parameter into it. Maybe let me take it as a. So in this function, I'm going to create another function def. I'll call it as child. I'm giving it b. So what this child will do is it is going to return the sum of these two numbers, right? Now this particular part is the function, right? This function is starting. This is the code of that function, right? But this function is available within the main parent function only. Within this it is visible. So I want to leave this function now. I am here, so I will just put enter. So I have left this function, right? So this indentation is meant for parent function. This indentation is meant for child function. So if I want to do any more lines, I can't write any more lines here because see, the moment I hit enter, it takes me out of the function. That is because it says that there is a return statement. Instead of return statement, if I write, see here, if I write print statement, it is not going to take me out of that function. So it is indirectly signaling us that return statement let you leave the function. So I am leaving the function. Now I am in the parent function. Now what I want you to do is I want to call the child with any number. I call it as 10. Okay, so this is the scope within which this child is visible. So again, if I hit enter, I am in the same function. I want to come out of this function, I'll put a backspace, I'll put 2 enters. So please try to understand this function well. This function is entirely this one. This is the entire function. Within this I have created another function which contains this code. Now this child is called with a number 10. So whenever I call this child with 10, it is going to assign that value to b. Remember that point for now. But yet I haven't called the parent. See, I'm coming out now. I'm trying to call child of 10. It will give me error. Name child is not defined because the scope of the child is within this function, parent function only. Now I can call parent because parent in itself is a global function. So I'll point again, I'll put 10 here. So what will happen, see, when I call this parent, it is going to go here, put a is equal to 10. Next it will check this, but it is not going to execute this since it doesn't encounters its call. When it comes onto this line, it takes the value 10 and insert it as b. Since we have the value of a already, it will add the two numbers and give the result to us as 20. So let us check that. It's very interesting. Control Shift F10. Yeah, because see why we are getting this none, I'll tell you, because the parent function is not returning anything. That is why we are getting none here. I have explained you that in my video, that if you're not returning anything, if you're ignoring the return statement, then we are going to get none. This return statement is for child, but parent doesn't have any return statement. So to make you understand this better, what I can do here is returning here, I will just directly print it so that you can understand it in a better way. So I think you are understanding. Let me just refresh it and run. So you'll get 20 here. So please try to understand, this 20 is coming from this line and this none is coming for this line. If you just don't print this, if you just call your parent method, the printing is automatically done by child, you will get your 20 here. If you give any other number, maybe 100, you will get your 110 here. I hope you're getting that point. So this function is called as your local function. This part is called as a local function, which is visible inside this parent one only. So we are done with local functions as well. Done. Let us move on to the lambda expressions, lambda functions. So I told you that lambda functions does not have return statement and so many things. I'll write the syntax here. You will write lambda keyword, you will write arguments list, you will put a colon, you will write expressions. expression, sorry, only single expression you should write. You should write single expression. That is a limitation of lambda functions. So to make you understand this better, let me create a lambda function. It's a very easy lambda function. I am giving some x. I want to return x by 2. I want to return the half of that function. Again, remember here, this function does not have any name. It is an anonymous function, right? So what you can do here is you can assign it to a variable. I can call it as half is equal to. Now I can call this function. I can call this function as, let me just remove this syntax. So let me call half with 2. So I will print this so that you can see the result on the screen. Yeah, I think you got that. Half of 2 means whenever you pass half of 2, it will go inside it. It will call this function. It will put x as 2. It will divide x by 2. It will return that to the half function and you're going to print it here. You can give any number here. Okay, you got the half of the number which I have given to you. It's recording and it is recording. So this is your lambda function. There are so many things that we can do with lambda function. I will explain you as we move forward. I will explain you the map and filter method that you can use with lambda function. So let me just give you the example of filter method, how you can use filter method. So within our explanation window, let me just add these 2 points. Lambda with filter method, lambda with map method we are going to study. So let us do them one by one. Now try to understand what is a filter method. Filter method can take 2 types of arguments. 2 arguments it is going to take. First argument will be a function. The second argument will be your list. So if I write a general syntax of filter, see, it automatically it can take function and an iterable, right? List. I will give list in our case. I'm going to give a list here, right? I think you are getting that point. So I can pass a function here. So I'm in order to pass a function, I want to pass a lambda function into it. So I will write lambda. So what I wanted, again I will take x. What I wanted, x modulus 2 equal to 0 numbers. I want such kind of numbers in my program which are only divisible by 2. White spacing, and yeah, so this is what I'm going to do here. I want just the numbers which are divisible by 2 using the lambda function and a filter method. So here I will put any list. I will write list, my list. I will give it as name as my list, and now I will define my list above here. My list is equal to 1 2 3 4 5 6. I think we have passed the filter method. We can pass, it told you, a function and a list and an iterable. So instead of taking a normal function, I am taking a lambda function so that you can understand the usage of lambda function in a better way, right? So since it is going to filter my list, with even numbers, I have to store them in something, right? So I want to store them in certain thing. I want to make the list of that, so I'm going to use list here, list keyword. So it will create a list of the filters that I want. So let me just give it even nums is equal to. So I hope you are getting that point. So let me just move forward. So what we can do here next is we'll just print even numbers now. Print even nums. Let me just print it. So you'll get 246. So we have used the filter method with a function that is a lambda function and a list to get our list of numbers that is even. I hope you are getting that point. So whenever we are using this function, when the list is created, before creating the list, these things are executed. Then only the list is created, then assigned to this, then we are printing it. So this is how the process is going to work. So we are done with filter method. Map is as same as that one. So instead of taking just filter there, I can take map also, no worries. I can write map here. So you'll get your result, right? See, it is going to return your list of true and false, right? So listen here, how we got false, because first number is not an even number. True, even, false, true, false, true. I hope you got that point. So map is returning us a list with true and falses, but whereas our filter is returning us the list with actual values. We are done with this one also. So in short, we are done with lambda functions as well. So let us talk